welcome all. We got an exciting video today. I'm here with the rest of First Seed. We got Dante and Kyle above me here. Zach unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. He's dealing with a little weird situation with some animals creeping in his house, so he's getting that fixed. But today we got some Week 2 start sits. So we're going to go through each one, give a little brief summary about each one. Let us know what you're thinking. So Kyle, kick us off here.
My start of the week this week is a healthy Chase Edmonds, running back for the Arizona Cardinals. I think he's not going to smash. He may not be the RB1, but I think he'll be what he was this past week, which was consistent, healthy. I think he's kind of the flex play points that you look for. He had 16 touches last week in a big Kyler Murray game. So this game against Minnesota this week might be maybe less of a Kyler game. And if it isn't, if it's a big Kyler game, he still has those touches. He's going to get his targets. And this Vikings team gave up 150 yards to Mixon. Not the same. Mixon isn't on the same level as Edmonds, but maybe they're just not a good running back defense. So I think Edmonds has a good game against them this week.
Oh yeah, and the volume that he got was kind of impressive too. You look at the game situation, how down bad they were throughout that entire game, and Edmonds is really that big play guy. They need explosion. They need some third down passing. He's that guy, and he didn't even get all of those close game snaps in the fourth quarter. So that volume in a game that really wasn't close is very, very impressive. Something to look forward to. So I love that pick. Moving on to Dante here. What do we got, Dante?
So, guys, I have Kareem Hunt, running back for the Cleveland Browns. It seems like from what I got from the Chiefs game, Stefanski has them rotating each drive. So I like that for both running backs because it gives them equal opportunity to get those points. He's going against the Houston Texans this week. The Houston Texans last season were known for giving up 29.75 fantasy points per game last year to running backs, which is why I'm really high on Kareem. The last time he played the Texans, he had 19 carries, which was more than Nick Chubb, 404 rushing yards. He had 3 receptions, 428 receiving yards as well. So because it is the Texans, I expect this game to be relatively easy for the Browns, therefore giving him more time in the latter quarters to get the opportunities to run the clock out. It also feels like Stefanski's getting into his groove with the offense. It's clear they are a run-heavy offense, and they rely on the play action to make plays down the field. They're running it to either Jarvis or OBJ, but that doesn't necessarily do a good job until you establish the run. So that's why I got Kareem Hunt. Big start for the Browns.
Oh, and I like it, man. Especially in those leagues that are a little bit deeper. You got 3 running backs. You got to figure out which one you're sitting and all that good stuff. Kareem's definitely a good go-to target for this week, so I like that one. I'm going to continue it here with my own start of the week. A little bit of a shocker here. I got Kenneth Drake, if you remember that name. He is currently the backup to big old Josh Jacobs in Las Vegas down there. Now, if you watch that game, I don't know if you guys saw, but Josh Jacobs did have a little bit of a situation going on with his toe. It looks like they were wrapping him up, doing what they could. They didn't say if it was turf toe or not, nothing like that. But he was visibly, even at the end of the game, when he came in to score that last-second touchdown, very visibly hurt. And he was held out of practice today on Wednesday. So I am going with Kenneth Drake in a game where I think they're going to be down to the Steelers. We saw Kenneth Drake come in for those last few drives in the fourth quarter where they were passing situations, and he was the guy. It was not Jacobs. So I'm excited for his PPR output being down in the game and just the overall opportunity with possibly a Jacobs injury there. So that's what I'm going for my start there.
I like that. I like that start. I like the fact that just based on watching the game, you could tell like he was actually being utilized. It wasn't the fact that he was just out there. It was the fact that Derek Carr was checking the ball down to him every once in a while to get those reception points. But I think Josh Jacobs was hurt like the first run. Like you could tell like on the way getting up, he was still super uncomfortable. So I would think Kenneth Drake's going to be the move for a couple of weeks down at least this 3-week stretch, because if it is turf toe again, that's not an injury that you can really recover from pretty fast. So.
All right, so yeah, good stuff there. Let's switch gears here. Let's go with our sits of the week for week 2. Kyle, kick us off.
All right, my sit of the week is wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, Robbie Anderson. This is a guy, what did he have, a good 50-yard touchdown this past week? But he had just 3 targets this past week. And they face what looks like a tough New Orleans defense that was able to just completely shut down Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I think this Panthers offense with a healthy McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson may have fallen down the passing ladder and is now their number 3 option on a team that doesn't throw a whole lot. So it's just kind of a tricky situation for him, and he may be a guy that in a few weeks is just a consistent bench rider. Because I don't want to start him, but there are some leagues where you're forced to. But I would prefer not to this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a ledge there and agree with you that maybe Robbie Anderson might not even be sit of the week for week 2. That might be dump of the year in week 2. We're talking potentially his usage and his role in that offense is going to change so much, and we don't want to sit here and overreact to week 1. I get that, but let's keep this in mind. I think that later on in the year we'll be saying the same thing. I'm glad I got rid of him a little bit sooner there. So, all right, Dante, who do you got for us?
I'm going to go James Robinson, the running back for the Jaguars. Last week, he had 5 rushes for 25 yards and 3 receptions for 29 yards. For that type of production, based on where we got him, that's awful. I'm going to be honest. That's not something that I would expect my either second or first running back of the draft to do. Carlos Hyde actually had more carries, which is also alarming. He had 9 for 44 yards. Even though that James Robinson played 63% of the offensive snaps, to only get around 8 to 9 touches is really, really alarming. It just seems like his production has been reduced down to like run by committee rather than being like the definitive back. And if it is run by committee, I think his value jumps from like an RB1 to I'd say like the RB3 range, just based on the fact that he doesn't get the opportunities that he used to have last week. He's going against Denver. There's a tougher matchup, so he might be utilized in the passing game more. I don't know if he established a rapport with Trevor Lawrence before the season started, but if he could get those check down passes, because Denver is a better defense, they have better secondary, I think James Robinson may have potential upside, but I would just sit him just because it's more of a running back by committee, and you don't know who's going to get more touches week by week.
Yeah, those are some good points on James Robinson. If you look back to like this offseason and stuff, I'll never forget texting you guys specifically, and I was seeing Travis Etienne going above James Robinson in drafts. And I was like, what is going on here? Why? Like, this doesn't make sense. James Robinson was a top 10 back last year. What is going on? And maybe everybody had an insight on something. Now we're seeing that obviously, that number 2 in Jacksonville, who they thought was going to be ETN for the season, is now actually competing for the number 1 spot. So maybe they knew something ahead of time. Who knows? But Dante, I got to say, I agree with you there 100%. I would not be starting James Robinson this week. All right. Last one. I'm going with my sit of the week for week 2, and it's going to be Tyler Boyd. This one actually hurts a little bit. I think I'm in about 6 or 7 leagues this year. I have him in about 4 or 5. So not an easy decision here, but definitely a guy that I think if I have some other receivers in that same tier as him, that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sit Tyler Boyd this week. So looking at his stats last week, it wasn't anything crazy at all. Mainly in that offense, it looks like in week 1, they really did want to show off Jamar Chase a little bit more, kind of show the world what they got in the first round, that they didn't make the wrong decision, which is fine. But yeah, Tyler Boyd, 3 receptions on 4 targets. He did have 10.67 yards per catch, which was pretty impressive. But other than that, not seeing enough volume. He's always been kind of that role player in that offense. T. Higgins is the clear number 1. So we'll see from here. Jamar Chase, I think, is going to be the guy that stretches the field. I just want to be sure that Tyler Boyd still has an important role in this offense before I can go ahead and play him in a flex spot again. So for this week, I am out on him. All right, and then other than that, we got our 3 starts, 3 sits, guys. Anything else to add here before we wrap it up?
No, I look forward to Chase Edmonds having a balling week and crushing one or both of you in any of the leagues we play in.
I'm just glad we can now finally talk trash to one another every week. Instead of just fantasizing and projections. We can actually see actual results now. So
oh yeah. And trust me, at first scene here, you guys will know if one of us is playing each other in fantasy. We'll make sure of that.
Yes, you will. Oh, absolutely.
All right. So, yeah, great video, guys. We're wrapping it up here. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Peace.